So, hi guys, we have Mr. Victor Cadena, who is the Executive Vice President, Mexican Chamber of Commerce in China. Pleasure meeting Mr. Victor.
Thank you.
So, we had a very interesting conversation about Mexico and China's relation. Can you please shed some light? How is it progressing, and what is the vision to build this relation and make it more stronger?
Yes. Well, the relation between Mexico and China is very close and very mature. We have over 50 years of diplomatic relations. In our case, as a Mexican Chamber of Commerce in China, we have been here for 19 years. Bilateral trade between Mexico and China last year was about $140 billion. It's a year-on-year growth, 5 to 10%. So last year was high record ever, bilateral trade. And this means China is to Mexico our second largest trading partner worldwide, just after US. And Mexico is to China also its second largest trading partner in Latin America, just after Brazil. So we have a growing trade every year, as I just say, 5 to 10%, and long-term cooperation.
Nice. And since you mentioned it's a very strong bilateral trade, between Mexico and China, what industries, come under this trade from Mexico to China and China to Mexico? What are the strongest industries that the trade is,
Well, so far it's manufacture, I would say. Manufacture is the most relevant in different industries. One of them is, as example, the automotive industry, the fair we are attending today and the following days related to the automotive industry. So Mexico is the fifth largest car maker worldwide. China is the number one, Mexico is the fifth. So it's a very mature and growing industry, but also Mexico, as a matter of fact, last year was the largest importer of Chinese cars worldwide.
Okay.
So no other country pushes more Chinese cars than
Final
Mexico.
product.
Final product, yes.
Okay.
Last year, about 330,000 units.
Okay.
So Mexico is not just a large car maker, fifth largest in the world, but also a large importer. And this also talks about the supply chain, talks about the auto parts, not just, there are over 40 to 50 Chinese auto parts companies manufacturing auto parts in Mexico. Also, we have Mexican companies doing auto parts in China as well. So it's a growing industry. We believe that in the years to come, more and more Chinese car makers will set up facilities in Mexico.
Great. So, as per you, where is the gap which you're trying to fill in Mexico by importing Chinese cars? Because Mexico, as you said, again is the largest producer of cars, right? So, is there a gap which China is filling by exporting their cars to Mexico?
Well, I will say that's a very good question. I think this gap is mainly in the electric vehicles because the traditional manufacturers, Ford, Chrysler, Toyota, Nissan, Kia, so on, GM, not necessarily manufacture electric vehicles at this moment, or they are starting to manufacture. So the many Chinese cars have advanced technology and they are 100% into electric. So that is one of the reasons. And the second reason is also about the cost, because the cost is very competitive. And now, indeed, Mexico increases the tariff on different products, including the final product, like the cars, fully assembled. So what is next? I mean, Chinese vehicles, as a matter of fact, now have between 15 to 20% of the market share in Mexico. But for those companies that want to keep the market share or even increase, they will need to set up eventually an assembling plant.
Right. A manufacturing unit in Mexico.
Yes, to assemble. And especially it's also related to the USMCA, which is the US-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. Mexico is the largest auto part exporter to US. It's also the largest exporter of vehicles to US, mainly because the USMCA that basically those that manufacture and assemble and meet the regional content can export to US with 0% tariff.
Okay.
So that's why, you know, for Chinese car makers, if they want to export to US, it's a huge tariff,
Right.
import tariff.
So they can go via Mexico.
Yes, has been the case over the last 40 years. And we think this is now the USMCA is on the revision. The revision is expected to be completed in the first half of this year, and that will provide more certainty for new players to come
Okay.
and take advantage not just about the Mexican market that is attractive itself,
Right.
with 130 million people, plus free trade agreements with over 40 countries, but mainly also for the US market, which is the largest consumer of.
Right. That's a very interesting point because, as we all are aware, the speed with which electric mobility technology is growing in China, that is what Mexico is planning to, or rather wanting to utilize the technology expertise. But eventually, is Mexico also clear in terms of going in the direction of electric mobility, or is it any other technology that you are focusing on? What is
Yes. I mean, the speed, of course, is not as fast in China, where the transition from gasoline to electric was super fast, and now, you know, almost 50% of all the new cars that are sold in China are electric, and the transition was very fast, in large extent also with subsidies from government and others. So the Mexico, this transition is not as fast, but is on the track, and we can see the numbers. Now the government and also private companies are investing in building the infrastructure. What I mean by infrastructure is the charging points,
right?
And all the infrastructure to support the development of e-vehicles. So this is already ongoing, but still the sales of electric is small compared to the sales of traditional gasoline, diesel, and so on. But we are on that trend, and I just think as a trend is unstoppable,
right?
But it's going to happen gradually, not as fast as in China.
Right. And are there any Mexican companies which are building the charging infra as a charge point operator, like a CPO? Are there big groups who are investing in this direction in Mexico?
Yes. I mean, not just Chinese. Even many Mexican companies are investing in developing the infrastructure, and many of these supplies indeed come from China.
Right. And one last question. So, how do you see eventually in, let's say, coming 5 years, what all other industries do you think Mexico and China are going to collaborate and be more stronger other than automotive? Do you see any other industries growing in the same pace?
Yes, well, as I just mentioned, China has been to Mexico our second largest trading partner already for 20 years.
Right.
I do believe that in the 5 years, 10 years to come, this will remain, and China will continue to be one of the most important trading partners. Also have to say, Mexico is the 10th largest buyer of China exports worldwide.
Okay.
Number 10.
Okay.
So it's also very relevant for Chinese market, the Mexican market.
Right.
So we are very confident that in the years to come, this trend will continue.
Right.
And it's not limited to the automotive. I mean, there's a lot of commodities, electrical, home appliances, electrical devices, construction materials, clothes, so many. I would say steel, aluminum, copper, all kind of furniture. Motorcycles. Mexico is the second largest buyer of Chinese motorcycles worldwide. Worldwide. So it's definitely not limited to vehicles, but
it's majorly because of the cost. When the cost, it's comparatively more price sensitive. Mexico is also price sensitive. The consumers are more price sensitive in Mexico. They go for cheaper rate products. Or
I would say because taking Mexico as part of Latin America. What differentiates us is that we are a more manufactured country.
Okay.
Agriculture is important, but as a matter of fact, agriculture is not the main export of Mexico, different than other Latin American countries. So the main export of Mexico are manufacturers. So it's very well developed. It doesn't mean agriculture is not important; it's also relevant, but it's not the main.
Right.
And also something interesting is, for example, the GDP per capita in Mexico is similar to China, about $15,000.
Okay.
And also the internet penetration, like access to mobility, is similar standard to China. So yes, I mean, we are very confident overall, and as a matter of fact, in this exhibition, as you may see, we are coming with 10 companies
Right.
as exhibitors, and early today we host a Mexico-China business seminar
Right.
together with the Mexican embassy.
Right. And also in Mexico, what is the price difference in, let's say, an electric vehicle versus an ICE vehicle, like a gasoline petrol vehicle?
Well,
Is it too much, the price difference, or
yes,
is that
the difference is higher than here in China. Here in China, probably 30-40%. Mexico is over 50%. Over 50% the price difference. But I think this is also related. It's a gap that is reducing gradually. I think this transition will be smaller gradually. You know, once infrastructure is fully deployed,
right?
and also when more car makers are start to. I mean, some are already manufacturing electric, but this
Right.
will come. I mean, if you look at the media, BYD, Chang'an, Great Wall Motors, and so on, all of them have publicly say that they will set up manufacturing plants in Mexico.
Excellent. Right.
They are just waiting to see what happened with the revision of the free trade agreement, North American Free Trade Agreement, the USMCA, to make a final decision. Because it's very attractive market itself, plus exporting to North America using Mexico as a hub,
Right.
as all the other players do. You know, Mexico has over 25 manufacturing plants
Right.
for different brands, all the
Right.
ones I just mentioned earlier.
Great.
And just to complete, we already see this trend. You like companies like Chakman, they do heavy trucks from China. They are already assembling in Mexico.
Okay.
Or Jack already start assembling in Mexico. Motorcycles like Cadena, one of the largest in China, already manufactured in Mexico. So I think we are at the beginning of this trend, and in the years to come, we will see this very accelerated in the automotive industry between China and Mexico.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for your time. It was pleasure interacting with you.
Thank you.